Did you know that before Skylanders, Toys for Bob was working on a post-apocalyptic Spyro game? Let's talk about it.
Whoa!
What's up guys, Canadian Guy here, and back with a brand new Spyro video. Recently, I've been talking a lot about cancelled games and game pitches over on the Crash Bandicoot end of things, but I thought it would be super cool to now cover some projects that never came to light for the purple boy that kickstarted this entire channel, Spyro the Dragon. Shockingly, there are not quite as many cancelled games and pitches for Spyro as I expected, but today, I want to talk to you about the direction that Toys for Bob almost took for Spyro. Toys for Bob really made a huge splash when they released Skylanders to the world, the first Toys to Life game that spawned a huge genre of games, like Disney Infinity and LEGO Dimensions. The game is still loved overall by many to this day, and many have called for some form of a comeback for this franchise. However, before the Toys to Life idea came to, well, life, Toys for Bob was actually thinking about making a much more mature and dark Spyro title. Now, this was initially a shock as Skylanders is seen as a game that's targeted to a much younger audience. So hearing that Toys for Bob was originally going to go the complete opposite direction is quite interesting. The original Spyro trilogy is seen as a game franchise that can be picked up by anyone young and old. But back in 2007, when Activision merged with Vivendi and acquired the rights to Spyro the Dragon, Activision approached Toys for Bob and asked them to start working on some new ideas for the Spyro license. After Dawn of the Dragon's overall lower sales and critic reception, Activision likely felt it was time for something brand new for the Spyro franchise. Toys for Bob then got to work, drafting brand new ideas and concepts together to see what would work. One of the ideas was a tiny Spyro, where he would travel through the real world but would be quite small, exploring bookshelves and tabletops on this new adventure. But that didn't exactly pan out, so they tried different iterations of a gritty, realistic Spyro. In this image here, we can see a giant dragon and a human hanging off the rocks getting ready to fight him. But again, it wasn't really working with the team. Then they explored sort of an origami Spyro, where he could unfurl and reshape himself into different forms for the situation he was in, from flying to even little weapons. But again, that idea didn't really pan out. Now, it seems that there were multiple ideas within these main concepts, and some of them were even combined, as one of the ideas that was heavily explored was within both the small Spyro and the dark, gritty tone. This was actually Paul Ritchie's, studio head at Toys for Bob, original idea to take the Spyro experience to a darker level. Toys for Bob producer Alex Ness said that it was going to be for an older audience, a darker take on Spyro for the next-gen systems. The heavily explored idea was a realistic Spyro reboot that was going to take place in a post-apocalyptic world, but this new world was supposed to be occupied by small toys that came to life. The game took place in the real world, but humans were gone and would be in Spyro's point of view, where he was 6 inches tall, along with other toys. The enemies that Spyro and his ragtag group of misfit toys would encounter would use everyday small objects as weapons, like forks and knives. Of course, the main story premise would be trying to discover what happened to the human race. This was supposed to be a game that was targeting the 16+ age group, the young adults who played Spyro as kids but grew out of it. The whole idea was that Spyro was grown up and therefore cool to play by the original audiences. But at the end of it all, it just didn't work. Paul Ritchie commented saying, "Let's blow Spyro out. Let's raise up the age range for him. Let's appeal to the kids over 16 up into young adults. Let's make it tough and bloody." And we did all of this concept work and just lost our enthusiasm. That wasn't Spyro. That isn't what our passion was about. It was much more joyous and active, and so we sort of stepped back from that. However, even though the post-apocalyptic Spyro idea didn't really pan out, the idea of small toys and real-life interactions seemed to stay prevalent in most of the ideas that Toys for Bob came up with for the Spyro franchise. So they came up with an idea where there would be physical toys that kids could actually interact with. One of them were little toy dragons that actually hatched from little eggs that the user could actually play with and place into a game. That is when Spyro's Kingdom was born. But eventually, Spyro's Kingdom went through a bunch of massive overhauls and eventually became Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. Though a lot of ideas that Toys for Bob came up with would have been super cool to see, I just didn't see any of them working out. Because like Paul Ritchie said, they were just not Spyro. Maybe for other games and titles in the future, but not for the Purple Boys franchise. But what did you think of the video? Would you have liked to have seen this post-apocalyptic toy Spyro? Comment below and let me know. Thank you so much to all those who not only support the channel, but myself and my family. Because of your contributions, I'm able to do this full time. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider clicking the join button or becoming a Patreon with the link in the description. I also live stream every Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come on by and say hi. Again, thank you to everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video and or live stream.